Hello again everyone. So here I am again for the next video on my request list. Now this video is for somebody that is the highest level of master energy in their life path. They're a life path master 33-6. So this person is a very old soul, like an 11 and a 22, here to do big things for us on earth. So they're an old soul. They've had many lifetimes, loads of experience, loads of wisdom. So this time, the master energy of the 33-6 has come to do something big. And for a master 33-6, you are a master teacher, a potential master entertainer, master teacher, master communicator. That is what the master 33-6 is all about. That double 3 is about double emotional communication, and the 6 is about nurture and reconciling your ideals and being non-judgmental and looking after others. So the master 33-6 can be the superstar, the super teacher, the teacher that teaches the world and raises the vibration of the world. You are fundamentally a nurturer, an emotional creative expressor, here to improve the well-being of the world in some way. Now, some 33-6s work towards this by being musicians and singers and entertainers or actors or writers even. Some do it through amazing creative artistry that they use to nurture others, not just others around them, but others around the world. Because when you're a master 33-6, this is all about having a world impact. This isn't just about nurturing the guy next door or your family. The master 33-6 is about mastering and healing and raising the vibration for humanity as a whole. So it's a very, and can be a very overwhelming life path to have. And that's before you even consider the intensity of the master energy that will be pounding you daily. But your talent number in the 7 is going to be a bit helpful there, because your expression number 7 drives you or makes you talented at being spiritual. So you're more likely to work towards, or have the talent to work towards, the spiritual abilities that you need in order to manage a huge energy like a master 33-6, because the master 33-6 is here to channel ideas from source energy and then emotionally express those ideas in order to nurture the world on a world scale. So the spirituality that the 7 talent energy can bring can greatly support the master 33-6. But the expression talent energy is not going to be so supportive when it comes to, let's say, expressing your artistry to audiences, because the 7's not all, it's really not all about telling other people about their wisdom. The expression number 7's about creating their own wisdom and developing their inner self. And they're really talented at developing themselves internally to be spiritually developed and strong, but they won't necessarily be talented at communicating that wisdom to others. So there's an overview of these two numbers together. But before I continue on to the detail of how these numbers work together, just want to remind you about my 2 books that are out. My Remember Your Life Purpose will really give you the elements and all the lessons that are involved in having a life path and a birthday number, or having a life purpose. So this first book, Remember Your Life Purpose, will teach you all the little elements, all the little life lessons that you need to learn and you need to develop in this lifetime. Remember Your Talents teaches you how your life path can be supported by the talents in your numerology chart. So where you're going to find things easy, the things you're going to find difficult in your life purpose. So if you really want to find out more about your own chart in detail, or you would like to be a numerology reader yourself, then these books are for you, most definitely. You can find them on Amazon. All you've got to do is search under my very weird name, Katie Ewers, and I should come up top of the list because there's not many of my name around. and both those books are available to you in paper book. One of them's only available on hard book because the other one's too fat, and they're all available on ebooks. So have a look on Amazon, and you know, they're really good books. So moving on to the reason for this video now. When you are a Life Path Master 33-6, you've got the hardest life path in numerology because it's the most developed, and it's for old souls that know their stuff and old souls that can deal with the energy. Now, master energies, 11s, 22s and 36s often go through many difficulties in their lifetime because they've got a huge amount to learn before they can even start to tackle their intense master energy. They're here to have not just creative, but double creative emotional self-expression, using their spirituality and their enhanced perception and intuition to heal and inspire and teach and entertain audiences, the world. Whether you do it online or whether you travel the world in purpose, you are meant to inspire the world, not just your family and your community. And it's going to be with whatever medium that you choose that is creative and can be an emotional, creative self-expression, artistry, acting, singing, entertainment, teaching something amazing that raises the vibration of humanity. You are here to be a master teacher, a master entertainer, a master communicator. You're here also to make the world a better place with that. You know, because as a 33-6, you're here to maintain a vision of the ideal world where everyone was looked after, everyone is accepted. And, you know, it's like a utopia that the 6 wants to bring, or the master 33-6. But as well as wanting to bring that vision and make people's lives better around the world, they also have to accept reality as it is now, because you can't be judging yourself, the world and other people for not being perfect yet. You're here to strive towards making humanity the best that they can be, but they're not yet there yet. And judging them or yourself is not going to be a good thing to do. You must understand that the world can't really be ideal at the minute, because the world is as it should be for our continued evolution. It's a school at the end of the day. It's a school that we have to experience both the light and the dark. It's an advanced life path where we have to experience all in order to evolve as souls. So you have a big job to do when you're a Master 33-6. You're here to nurture the world through your emotional, creative and verbal self-expression in a huge way, and it's got to go global. You know, this is all about it, speaking to audiences and nurturing as many people around the world as you possibly can. That's what you're here to do. Now, that's not going to be easy. It's a really hard life path. It's for old souls, and you may have a lot of difficulties along the way. And before I teach you anything else about your life path, daily spiritual practice is vital for a master energy, so that you don't choke and gasp under the intensity of your energy. And if you are choking and gasping, that will be expressing as anxiety and nervous tension. If you are getting that, if you don't do anything else after watching this video, improve your spiritual practice and your daily meditations and visualizations to help you manage the intensity of that master energy, and it will improve your anxiety and lower your nervous tension, most definitely. But the talent you bring with you, it's your spirituality. It's your ability to to have the potential to learn and to be a spiritual being, to understand source energy, to connect with source energy, to connect with your intuition and know that you are a spiritual being having a human experience in order to evolve. So you know who you are when you're a talented 7. You have full trust in your own soul's stored intuitive wisdom from all those other lives. And you're safe in the knowledge that all experiences, both light and dark, are lessons for your soul's evolution. And the world isn't against us or you or anyone else. It's just there to teach us something important. You're very focused on your inner development and your self-discovery and your spiritual intuitive development. You're very much a thinker, a researcher, able to focus and balance logic and intuition in order to find your intuitive truth. Because you're a free thinker. You're not just going to believe anything just because someone says it's true or because the news says it's true or because it's fashionable for it to be true. You're a free thinker. You research and intuit your own truths and you look beyond the veil for those truths. You're independent but as much as you think differently and you look for truths that other people might not look for, you're still able to emotionally connect with others and to not isolate yourself too much. You're able to quite skillfully balance your alone time for your own self-development with your social time and your communication and connection with others. It's just where there's going to be an issue is where, working towards nurturing other people and communicating your creative artistry to other people is not going to be so easy for you. Now, this is going to be quite a long vid because the Life Path 33.6 has double the abilities to do than us single life path people. So you better relax because you've got a lot of lessons to learn to get through in order to achieve your very, very powerful life path. So you are an old soul, as I've said, here to spiritually channel, communicate. So spiritually channel new ideas, new wisdom that's really going to help to nurture the globe and raise the vibration of the world, whether you do it through speech, through your art, or through your songs as a master communicator, entertainer, teacher. You're an old soul and you're here to spiritually channel wisdom, unmanifested ideas that are primarily to communicate in order to raise the world's vibration. You're here to learn to be that master communicator in whatever medium or topic that you decide, whatever medium or topic you are passionate about. To be a master communicator, to entertain, to teach, to inspire, inform and delight other people in order to nurture others in a very real and deep way, emotionally nurture others and heal others, but in a big way, a way that spreads all over the globe. But you've got to learn to handle the energy, as I've said, of this master energy. It can be like a waterfall drowning you because of the intensity of the energy. And, because you're here with an attitude of service as a master energy, you can not only struggle with the intensity of your master energy, but you can also do too much for others and overwhelm yourself with how much you do for others, especially if you don't have boundaries in place. However, your talent in the seven is going to be helpful there. It means that you engage in spiritual intuitive development, which is going to be great for helping you to channel those new ideas. You research other people's self-discovery and spiritual theories, and you use what resonates rather than channeling new ideas. So you've got to work towards, for the 33.6, channeling more of your own healing ideas, because it's not just about the theories that you intuit and read from others. You can use that also, but it's also about what you channel from source energy that you use to heal the world. You may struggle a little to channel your own ideas because really you're used to analyzing the theories of others and intuitively assessing them for their truths rather than channeling your own ideas. But this is one of the things you're here to work towards. And you may struggle to learn to develop towards channeling your own brand new, unique ideas and managing that master energy unless you're involved in daily spiritual practice and developing your ability to channel your master energy. And as I said, communication of your ideas is not going to be an easy thing because the seven is about developing themselves and they are much, much, much less about communicating those ideas or nurturing other people with those ideas. So a big step out of the talent zone here needed in order to be more more communicative towards others, because that's what you're here to be. So first of all, support that Life Path Master 33/6 by developing your spiritual ability to channel and manage your master energy, and focus it then into action, and most importantly, communication in whatever creative medium that you decide to do that in. You're here to learn to express yourself, first of all, verbally, creatively, emotionally, but we're going to start with verbally because they're three different things, three different talents, three different tasks to achieve. Excuse me. So we're going to start with verbally. Now, as a double three, your struggles as a double three could very much be double chronic shyness, struggling in some way verbally to communicate with others. Now, this could be a stutter, this could be a lisp, this could be even struggling to find the right the right words to communicate with people. Some people struggle with their vocabulary and being able to know what to say to someone. Some threes have language barriers, and some people have speech delays or communication difficulties. Or sometimes it's just chronic shyness. It's that difficulty that inhibits the verbal communication of a master 33/6. And being as it's a double three, you could have the potential to have double the difficulties here for verbal communication in whichever way that comes. Your 7 talent energy doesn't really make you a huge communicator in terms of talent. You're quite the quiet studier. You research the big questions. You love to think. You love to assess yourself. You love self-discovery, but you may not naturally focus your talents, because you have to develop them, on communicating your wisdom to others. You know, you're quite happy to keep your wisdom strongly to yourself and develop yourself, because that's what, that's what your talent is all about. But as a 33/6, you need to learn to communicate your research, your experience, your learning, your wisdom, whatever you love to learn and intuit and channel, and teach that to others, to inspire, to inform, and to delight the world. Because your wisdom in the 7 could bring great things in order to help you nurture the world in the 33/6. Because remember, it's all about using your talent to support the tasks of your life path, and being aware of where your natural talent doesn't completely cover all the tasks necessary for your life path, and that these tasks may need a little bit of extra work in order to achieve them. You're here to learn to express yourself creatively, also as well as verbally, to inspire, to inform, and to delight others. But as a creative 33/6, you're going to doubt that you're creative. Many 3s and 33s tell themselves, oh, I'm not creative. My work's rubbish, blah, blah, negative self-talk. And this causes a very creative 33 to procrastinate and struggle to finish their creative projects because simply lack of self-belief. They don't believe that they're creative. So, they don't express their creativity. Now, with a talent number in the 7, this could be exacerbated because you have the potential in the 33/6 to be extremely creative, but your natural talents in the 7 is less about creativity in the form of art, or creativity in the standard sense, or in the, what can I say, the known sense. I mean, if I was to say, how is the 7 creative, I might say that they creatively develop the theories that they learn about, thus learning and creatively developing their potential intuitive truths, their research, their truths that they intuit as true. But other than that, the 7 is more analytical and logical and research-based and knowledge-focused, because they're here to learn wisdom and spirituality. And they tend to tip towards the spiritual and the logical and the research than they do at being creative in any creative artistry kind of way. So the talented 7 either needs to delve into their creative artistry because it's there, otherwise they wouldn't have a 33-6 life path. They have musical, creative, artistic ability in whatever medium that they may choose if they want to. But they could choose, as a talented 7, to creatively express their wisdom that they've developed in the 7. So there's a couple of ways of doing this. It's not going to be easy because the 7 doesn't see themselves as creative, which can exacerbate your difficulties in the 3 to say, I'm not creative. And the 7 is creative in a different way. It is actually more logical and research based. So you're working towards either being creative with your theories or looking towards your creative artistry, your musical side, your artistic side, your acting side, your dance side, your creative artistry as a whole. It's important for you to achieve your Master 33-6 life path. So to support that Master 33-6 life path by choosing your creative artistry, whether it be through the 7 or you walk down the path of art or music or other creative pastimes to aid you to enhance your ability to be that master communicator. This could be difficult, but it also could be a fascinating element for you to achieve. You've got to learn to be more dynamic as a 33-6. You're here to nurture the world, for goodness sake. You've got to be dynamic. You've got to take risks and be confident to enjoy being the center of attention or being listened to by the world. You know, you're here to nurture the world, so you've got to learn to be listened to by the world. And of course, because of that, because it's your life path, you can shy away from audiences. You can shy away from communicating to others. And the 7 doesn't help that. Your shyness can, almost be compounded, exacerbated by the 7's lack of ability at first anyway to communicate charismatically their wisdom, because they're all about learning it themselves and developing themselves internally. They haven't developed their talent towards the communication side like this life path is asking them to do, because you can be shy, underconfident, unable to take risks or face any audiences or communicate anything at all. And your 7 talent energy makes you that skeptical truth seeker, willing to take intellectual risks. Okay, not necessarily into huge risks in the world, because the 7's all about their internal development more than they are taking risks in the world. So you might, through your 7 talent, take intellectual risks because you are a truth seeker, and sometimes the 7 might find out things that the establishment isn't very happy that they found out, which actually can put you at risk. Some governments are horrific. So your 7 talent energy could make you a truth seeker to the point where you could be taking intellectual risks by looking beyond the veil to the hidden truth that the power system might not want you to know. So that in itself can be a risk. But risks in the real world and communicating those truths to audiences, not so easy for you, because again, you're all about your own inner development rather than the communication to others. So support that life path Master 33-6 by being braver. You've got to be brave enough to take those intuitive risks to progress. You know, they say you can't progress without taking some risks, and that is true. And communicate your new ideas confidently without fear or without fear from others. Because remember, as a 33-6, you are here to bring change. You're here to be a master communicator, to raise the vibration of the world. And as a 7, you've got the wisdom and truth within you to help you to do that. You need to also, as a 33-6, to get your word out there, you need to develop as an entrepreneur that is able to promote and network and make money creatively. The 33-6 is all about creativity and nurture. Your 7 talent energy means that you can develop internally very easily, but developing externally is not something you find so easy. In fact, you often feel that you'd rather you know, just research and study and work from home, away from the crowds, or work away from the world. You know, expression sevens are really good at working from home, working by themselves. Um, but, you know, it's more for their own development more than business or making money in the external world. So the seven can sometimes fail to to get themselves involved with the external world like the 33-6 needs them to do. And it's what they need to do. It's not just about your development now, even though you're a talented seven. Now it's about taking that wisdom that you have in the seven and communicating that to the world to raise its vibration. So support your life path master 33-6 by developing as an entrepreneur, promoting, communicating, networking and making money. That's basically expressing yourself externally rather than keeping it all within, so that you can make money and communicate to the world as a money making entrepreneur. Okay, that's important for you as a 33-6. But you're a very emotional person. Both the 33-6 and the expression 7 gives you a very emotional energy. So you're here to learn to express your emotions positively. You can be extremely sensitive to criticism and a sponge for other people's emotions, causing you to express yourself negatively at times. You have the potential to lift people up emotionally into the rafters with your creative, verbal, emotional expression. You know, you're here to improve the emotional well-being of others, and because of that you have the potential to destroy the emotional well-being of others if you so desire. But you're here to go the opposite to that. You can be extremely emotional and negative and absorb negative emotion and express negative emotion. So you're here to be aware of your emotions and express those emotions in a more positive way, to lift people up rather than bring them down. Remember, you're a master communicator here to raise the vibration of the world. Your seven talent energy makes you a well of deep emotion. And sometimes, I mean, you're talented at connecting with others, but sometimes you keep that emotion hidden away and you express that hidden emotion and the authenticity of you to those that you trust and know other people. So sometimes you can be quite holding in of your emotions. And the difficulty with that is holding in emotions rather than expressing them or becoming aware of them and reconciling them can cause issues with, I mean, in the end, you can't hold it in anymore, not longer. It's like a Coke bottle. It's going to burst in the end. It will burst out of you. And if it does burst out of you, it won't necessarily be in the healthiest of ways. So it's really important for you as a master emotional 33-6 and a talented emotional 7 in order to become aware of and start to manage your emotions so that you can function to connect with others and the world in order to raise its vibration. You're here to act as well. Sometimes the intensity of your master energy and your talent 7 could cause you not to act, but you're here to develop the habit of taking action, being a doer and an executor of your creative, verbal, emotional ideas. When you're low and you're not managing your spiritual energy, you can be overwhelmed and full of anxiety. You can even feel emotionally low and struggle with apathy and laziness and lack of focus and direction that can cause that can really bring you down and stop you from taking action on the things that you need to take action on. You can't inspire the world. You can't bring great things to the world if you don't do anything. So that's one of the big tasks for the 33-6 is to actually take action on what they need to take action on to raise the vibration of the world. Sorry about the noises. Flipping family, what can I say? So your 7 talent energy means that you are more of a thinker than a doer. You're a researcher. You're a theorist. You will act to experience in order to learn, because you know that learning to develop yourself spiritually or intuitively or knowledge-wise isn't just about research and theory. It's also about learning from our experience. But you're much better as a 7 at being a thinker and a researcher and a theorist. You can act to experience and learn, as long as it's developing yourself internally. But if it's boring, if it's not something that's developing you internally, you're not going to want to do that. If it's something you've never done before and you feel it will teach you something good, then you will do it. If not, you're unlikely to do that naturally, to act, unless you feel it develops you on a deep level. So support that Master 33-6 by acting to progress your new ideas for audiences, not just to develop yourself, but to develop the world. Because remember, you're here with a very, very, very big task in this lifetime. You're here also to learn to be social, talkative, the life of the party, the bringer of fun and positivity. You need to be that jovial, fun networker, communicating your emotional message in order to raise the vibration of the world. But because you have that as your purpose, you might struggle, if you're not managing your master energy through spiritual practice, or you are struggling with this element of your life path. You can be very quiet and struggle to speak at all, full of anxiety and nerves, and feel unable to socialize on any level at all. So it's important that you as a 33-6 learn to develop that so that you can socialize with others and network and communicate the emotional message to the world that you are here to communicate. Your 7 talent energy makes you both a quiet observer, and you can be a social extrovert, especially around people you trust, because you'll be a social extrovert if you trust the people around you, because you trust the people you trust not to ridicule you. You're going to be very more extrovert with, to be honest. I mean, you like time by yourself, but when you are with others, you do like, as an expression 7, to socialize in an extroverted way and connect emotionally with those around you. So you have an ability in the 7 to connect socially with others, but you may at times want to be on your own. So your talent in the 7 will at times reduce your social contact, and you may sometimes want to be on your own, or be working on your own rather than socializing and communicating with others. So, it's, with the 7, you balance the 2, but for your life path as a master communicator, you need to start tilting towards communicating more and socializing on a higher level than just 50-50, so that you can communicate your message to a wider range of people, to help you to network and communicate your amazing master communicator message to the world. It's great to spend time by yourself developing yourself, but as a master 33-6, you're here to take that further and actually spend more time expressing your wisdom and your creative artistry to the world in order to raise its vibration in some way. You must learn, develop, and have independence and interdependence, because your struggles in the 33-6 can sometimes cause dependence because of how much you have to get done, how much you have to achieve. But also, the 3 really likes to be looked after and can be prone to avoiding work or anything needing routine or commitment, because the 3 likes to work on their own steam. They like to work on their own schedule, and their work ethic can be a little bit inconsistent. So this inconsistent work ethic can sometimes draw a 3 towards dependence on others, when they need to understand that we're here to help each other. They need independence first, and then to develop a sense of interdependence, because the 33-6 isn't about taking from others, it's about giving to others. So a big turnaround is needed here. So your talent in the 7 energy means that you are quite independent. You love to do things for yourself and by yourself. That's what you're good at doing. In fact, most talent energies find it difficult to speak to others about something that they're researching or thinking about. because the 7 talent energy is all about using their intuition and then making independent deductions about the truths that they're trying to learn about. They're not swayed by the opinions of others, and they're certainly not swayed by convention. Also, the expression 7 is going to find commitment and routine to repetitive work almost impossible, definitely a struggle, because the 7's all about developing themselves internally, and developing yourself internally isn't always conducive with bringing you independence in life. And of course, this lack of commitment to any kind of work or routine work, or anything that might need a daily routine, is going to be a struggle. And this could exacerbate your tendency in the double 3 to be dependent. This could cause potential financial dependency across the board. So it's important that you support your life path master 33/6 by learning to be more independent first, so that you can do more things for yourself, that you can commit to things that will actually bring you that independence that you need, and then work towards having enough independence and abundance to be interdependent, to be more interdependent in your action and commit to all the tasks that are related to your master communicator purpose, because you've come to do something big. So commitment to that task is absolutely vital for you in order not only to achieve your life path master 33/6 in its entirety, but to gain some form of independence within your lifetime. You're here to be quite confident, jovial, social, opportunistic, able to network, make useful connections, confidently snap up opportunities to spread the word, progress ideas and projects. It's very much the confident communicator of numerology. And because you're here to be that, you're of course going to be extremely shy. And you may even avoid social contact because of your shyness. Because you're here to be so confident and socially aware, you may struggle with that. Your 7 talent energy means that you may not always feel comfortable to be extroverted. It depends who you're with and whether you trust them. In fact, you can be at times, depending on how you're feeling or who you're with, you can be quite socially aloof and very mysterious, which is not always conducive with opportunistic networking, meeting new people and getting out there and speaking to people, because you can be quite quiet and hold yourself back at times, especially if you smell some kind of deception, or if you feel that the people that you're communicating with aren't there for your best interests. Support your life path master 33/6 by being ready to confidently snap up any opportunity from anyone to network and progress your ideas. It's really important because you've got to take risks. You're a master 33/6. You haven't come here to do something easy, I'm afraid. So you've got to be ready to get out there and confidently snap up those opportunities to progress, so that you can be that master communicator that you are here to be. You must learn to take responsibility. Listen to guidance, because the 3 is very spontaneous, very excitable, very fun-loving, love to nurture and create and be spontaneous. And when you're spontaneous and you don't always think things through fully, you can do irresponsible things, whether you mean to or not, because it's just things you haven't thought out. And the 3, especially the double 3, can struggle to think before they act, and they can struggle to take full responsibility after they have acted, because they tend to think after the event rather than before it. So responsibility, especially for the intensity of your master energy, is vital for you in this lifetime. Your 7 talent energy means that you listen to the guidance of other people and theorists that you trust, but you don't act unless it's through your intuition. You think, but you do not always act. That's the issue. As you avoid responsibility to other people where you can. So this is a bit of a double-edged sword. You're not really keen and you're not good at being responsible when you're a 7. And when you're a 3, you struggle with responsibility. So this could be a bit of a struggle for you or for this client. You think, but you don't always act or take responsibility. You avoid responsibility to other people where you can because you're a talented 7. Obviously, your motivation, your soul urge number will also have a bearing on this. But when it comes to your talents, you're more about responsibility to developing yourself than other people. So support your life path master 33-6 by realizing and embracing your huge responsibility to others, to be ethical, to be a master communicator, and to actually raise the vibration of those all over the world. That's a big step to take for somebody who's not really used to or feels able to take responsibility for other people. It's a huge responsibility, and it might be a tough road to walk down for you, is being responsible and taking responsibility. You're here to also, in the 6, make the world a better place. Be a visionary of the ideal, the utopian world. You're here to create a better world with your ideals. Now, your ideals aren't always feasible, so it's got to be the realistic ideals. And because you're idealistic and perfectionistic and you're here to bring your ideals to earth and make the world a better place, you can be judgmental of the world for not being ideal. You can be judgmental of yourself and other people around you for not being that utopian ideal. And you can judge yourself, people and the world for not meeting your unreachable ideals, causing you disappointment and sometimes causing you to act quite nefariously and counterintuitively because you're so upset that the world isn't reaching your ideals. So this is something that you really need to get by as a Master 33-6. But your 7 talent energy actually makes you intuitive and spiritual. And it will actually balance your worldly idealistic nature at times. And make you look towards the spiritual and the intuitive, because it's important for you as a talented 7. You study spiritual truths, you do this already, and you study spiritual truths that will guide you regarding the wisdom of the world, the wisdom of the essential balanced nature of this world, this universe, and that it needs to be balanced for our evolution and learning. And this will help you to reconcile any ideals that you feel that you need to bring to earth now. Because if the world was ideal, humanity would not learn a thing. I don't learn things when I'm sitting in my utopian garden in the sunshine, eating ice cream and drinking Coca-Cola from a straw with ice. I'm loving that. That's my ideal position to be in. I'm not learning anything. I'm just loving life. And to be in this world, we're all here in each incarnation to learn something. So making the world ideal straight away is not conducive to learning your spiritual truths as a talented 7. You could have ideals related to your truths, honesty, authenticity, and your vision may be influenced by your values of truth and integrity and authenticity and spirituality and intuitiveness. You could do that. You could mix these two, but you are going to have a talent here to have the wisdom to know that some ideals just aren't feasible in this world. And this is going to help you when it comes to judging other people, because you just have that talent and that wisdom to know that the world wouldn't be the world and it wouldn't be useful to us if it was just this utopian ideal already. So support your life path master 33-6 by creating your vision of the ideal world. That's great. It's great to strive towards making the world a better place, but it's important that you intuitively assess whether those ideals are feasible in this lifetime. And if they're not feasible at this time, because we need to learn all sides of the coin, not to judge the world, yourself, or other people for that. There's a reason why the world isn't perfect yet. Because do you know what? If the world was perfect and we were all perfect already, there'd be no point in us incarnating in these lifetimes in the first place. So you're here to learn then, not to use your ideals, your vision as a benchmark for your happiness. It's great to have it there. It's great to have it as something to strive towards, because you are here to have a world impact. But to have an idealistic world impact of unfeasible ideals that you are have no ability, or it's not feasible to achieve at this time, it's going to be a difficulty for you, because you're just going to be judging everyone and yourself for not hitting those ideals, for not hitting that perfection. That perfection is going to cause you some unhappiness and self-berating yourself for not being that perfect, faultless person that you really want to be. But your seven talent energy means that you do not base your happiness on your ideals. So it's going to help you to balance this tendency to use your ideals as a benchmark for your happiness. You don't really, as a talented seven, base your happiness on worldly ideals. In fact, you don't focus on the world all that much. It's all about your inner development. So you realize and accept that the world is a perfect learning environment because you know your spiritual truths. So you've got to experience, that you've got to experience both the light and the dark to evolve yourself spiritually. So again, as a talented seven, you may not see much point in having a vision of the ideal, but it is still something we are working towards, and still something that the seven can use their spirituality and their intuition to develop. Because remember, the six is here to make the world a better place. They've just got to make sure that their ideas are feasible in this lifetime. And if they're not feasible, for goodness sake, don't judge yourself or anyone else for that. There's a reason why it's not feasible. So experience, we've got to experience both the light and the dark, and you won't experience that with a utopia. You've got to evolve spiritually by dealing both the negative and the positive, both the light and the dark. When you understand this need to experience both, this will make you less emotional when it comes to your ideals and your perceived perceptions of perfectionism in this world. We're not there yet, and you can't be upset with yourself about something that nobody's there yet in. No one's perfect. And explain to me what perfect is. Is your idea of perfect the same as somebody else's idea of perfect? You're here to reconcile your ideals with reality, like I said, here to be light and dark. It's good to have ideals to strive towards. It's good to want the world to be fed. It's good to want the world to be healthy and have water, and for everyone to feel loved. It's good to have those visions. It's not always feasible for the world to embody all those visions, but it's good to have that to strive towards, because that's what's helping humanity to evolve. So you're here to learn to reconcile those ideals with practical reality. Except, as I've said, that the universe or source energy is everything, all experience, light and dark, existing all in perfect balance. And to fully experience love, you've got to experience hate. If you want to really understand love, you've got to understand what it is to hate. And this is true of all the dualities and polarities that we learn in our multiple lifetimes. So your seven talent energy makes you a seeker of truths and realities in this world. You have the inner wisdom naturally to support the key knowledge that you need regarding this balanced world, to stop you from being bogged down by your ideals, and to help you to reconcile your vision, your ideals with reality as it is now for our evolution and our stage of our spiritual evolution. So support your life path 33-6 by reconciling the ideals with practical reality and expressing what you can express and what is feasible to express. Because remember, we're a work in progress. We are not there yet. I have, again, having your ideals as a benchmark for your happiness. Have I gone backwards? No, sorry, I went backwards by mistake. So we'll carry on there. Your perfectionism, your idealism It can make you an overachiever because you've got to make it perfect. I'll just work till midnight tonight because it's not quite perfect. I've got to carry on working. It's not quite perfect. There's details missing. The 6 can be so over perfectionistic that they can overachieve and work too hard just because they're striving to make their work or whatever they're doing perfect. And they very often never meet even their own standards. But what they need to do is stop getting stuck in the petty detail of this went wrong and that went wrong and see the big picture of what they're trying to achieve. Not getting stuck in the petty detail of what went wrong, but to keep that big picture in mind and understand the successes, the steps that you've taken forward, and not be so perfectionistic about everything. We're here to develop and evolve. And it's important that you're not judging those small imperfections and ruining your big picture successes just because you think you didn't do that well enough. You know, I know someone that can run amazing events, absolutely pucker amazing events, and everybody says what a great time they had. But this 6, instead of focusing on what a success that was, they will say to themselves, well, it would have been better if I hadn't have forgotten to put the water on the tables, or it would have been better if that banner was green and not blue, and blah, blah, blah. And they're ruining their own successes by nitpicking petty perfectionist detail, which is really taking away from the success of what they have achieved already. And then they're overachieving and working too hard to try and strive for a perfection that you're never going to meet. And it just overworks and exhausts you as a 33-6. But as a 7, this is going to be helpful because as a talented 7, you study big picture theories. You're good at digging into the details and the intuitive analysis, which can be an issue, but you're also good at looking at the big picture. It is possible that as a talented 7 that you could get stuck in looping thought processes or over theoretical details, but you're also very spiritual and big picture orientated as well. So it's important that your tendency to work on the detail as a talented 7 doesn't exacerbate your detail focus in the 33-6. So it's important for you to support your master 33-6 life path by being more balanced in your big picture detail focus, and look at your successes and stop nitpicking the petty detail, because there's loads of petty detail in anything you do, but look at your big picture, look at your successes too, and don't hold yourself back with little nitpicky imperfections that actually stop you from progressing and cause you to overwork yourself in a very big way. You're here to learn as a 33-6 to be a nurturer of the world, compassionate, caring, giving, especially those that need it the most, those that are vulnerable and struggling within the world, your community, your close relationships, and the wider world. Remember, you're here to have a worldly focus. But when low, you can be the opposite of that. You can be not a nurturer, not caring, not compassionate. In fact, you can be quite neglectful when you're at your very lowest as a master 33-6. So you're working towards being that nurturer, that compassionate, caring giver. Your 7 talent energy makes you a bit self-absorbed. And very self-focused, because the 7 energy is all about inner development and spiritual development. And it's good for some energies to be self-focused. We can't all focus on everyone else. Nobody'd get anything done. So you are caring and compassionate as a talented 7, but you may struggle to be focused as a carer or a nurturer of others, because it's not something that your talent naturally pushes you towards, being a carer or a nurturer of others. You're more about developing yourself and your own wisdom. So you've got to learn to support your master 33-6 by focusing more on nurturing others, focusing more on care and concern in the community and definitely the wider world, because you're here to raise people up, to nurture them, to improve their lives, to make them feel good, to nurture them, to raise their vibration. You are a server and a master communicator, here to serve others in a big way. So it's going to be a big step for you to come away from your self-focus towards being very worldly focused and focusing your power outwards towards the world. That's going to be another big one for you. But as a service orientated 33/6, not at first while you're still vibrating at the 7, but definitely as you develop your master service energy as a 33/6, you're going to need to develop your boundaries to ensure that you're not doing too much for other people. You know, when you're really developing your service orientated master 33/6 energy, you can do far too much for others in your task, your relentless task to help the world, to help everyone else. So, and this can make you feel sort of tired, resentful, ill, exhausted, sometimes undervalued by others because you do too much for others. And this can become quite exhausting for you. But as a 7, at first you won't need it because the 7 talent energy is very self-focused. And your self-focus will create natural boundaries on how much you will do for others. So it will create a balance. So you're less likely to do too much for others, especially at first. But as you develop your service-based master 33/6 energy, boundaries will be much more important because you will be developing towards more service towards others and less self-focus. So support your life path master 33/6 by developing your healthy boundaries on how much you will do for others and making sure that you're looking after your own well-being, especially as your master 33/6 service energy develops further. You're here to be more of a team player, to work with others, to be able to communicate with others in a team environment or even a family group environment. And it's up to you to break through low self-esteem and your difficulties with communication, to be more confident socially, more team related, more fun loving and relaxed around other people and able to work around other people in a very, very effective way. Your 7 talent energy makes you a bit of a lone worker rather than a team player. You're naturally talented at working on your own and getting things done. And you're much better at lone research and analysis than you are at working within a team, which is going to be something you're going to need to develop, because you need to support your life path master 33/6 by developing those social skills towards being more of a team player, working with and alongside and for others rather than being on your own and working on your own. Again, this is going to be another moot point for you as a talented 7 to work towards. And of course, it depends on your soul urge motivation number as well as to how easy or difficult that you find that process. You're here to create also a stable, nurturing, tranquil home, to maintain your stable base and kind talk and maintain your well-being, and then nurture yourself and your family in an environment of stability and love and just loveliness, like Brady Bunch kind of love. That's what 33/6 is working towards. Your 7 talent, your natural ability that you have now, you're just as happy alone as you are with others. You're able to connect with others emotionally. It's something that you do a lot. It's not that you can't connect with others emotionally, but you'll often choose to spend more time on your own rather than being around family members or creating family. You see, 7s can be in a relationship or they can be happy not in a relationship as well. You're able to connect emotionally with others, but you may not put too much focus in communicating and creating deep and nurturing relationships with others or family members or relationships. 7s can be quite detached from the home, from the nurturing environment, and they might find this element quite difficult too. To be able to focus on having a relationship. Many 7s, they want a relationship, but they're happy not having a relationship. You know, sometimes it's much of a muchness to them, and that can get in the way of their task in the 33/6 to create that stable, nurturing, tranquil home that the master 33/6 is here to achieve. So another moot point here that might be quite a difficulty for this client. You're here to learn to be responsible as I've said, there's double responsibility needed here, and do good for those you care for, because people put you naturally in positions of responsibility, but you can sometimes resent that responsibility and that service, and you might not always want to have that responsibility. Your 7 talent energy means that it could exacerbate this energy more. You may resent and reject being considered the responsible one, because your talent is all about you and your own self-discovery. You're not interested, or certainly not talented. I don't know about the interest, because that is your soul urge number, but you're not going to be overly able, especially at first, to transfer that responsibility to others. You don't mean people any harm. You don't strive to be irresponsible, but you may not always think of others' needs first, because you're all about your own development. So again, think about your responsibility to others. Support your life path master 33/6 by embracing your responsibility and taking positive and responsible action in the world, because you've got big things to achieve. You're here to also express, you're a master communicator, right? And it's not just verbal, it can also be through your creative artistry. So it's not just your verbal, you're here to develop as a master communicator. You need to learn to communicate through your music, through your creative artistry, or through your artistic and aesthetic potential. The Master 33/6 can be a singer, a musician, an entertainer, an artist. They're here to express themselves, their creative artistry, in order to communicate with the world, to raise its vibration, to nurture others. And you can nurture people with your art or your aesthetics or your music or all of those. You can nurture people with your creative artistry in whatever medium that you choose to create, to nurture people in, because you're a master of the creativity. You're a master communicator. You're a master 33/6, and you communicate not just with your words, but with your artistry, with music, or with your body, or with your art, or with your sculpture, or with whatever creative medium you choose, you could use to nurture the world around you. Now, your 7 talent energy could be a bit of a pooper here again, because you're more of an academic and a researcher when you're a talented 7. You're creative with theories and ideas and wisdom and learning and, and, and wisdom and understanding, but not so much really with the creativity. 7s do like to sing, but they're going to be less about the creative artistry and more about the wisdom and the theory. So to support your Life Path Master 33/6, explore your creative artistry more, your musical, artistic and aesthetic potential, or whatever creative medium that you're passionate about as part of your effective master communication. It's not just about the words when you're here to communicate with others. Now, I hope you found my video really useful today. I have, without gabbling on too much, I have courses on Udemy if you'd like to learn numerology. I have books out on Amazon if you'd like to learn numerology or read charts for yourself. I can teach you one-to-one, or you can learn by yourself on Udemy or with my books. You can request videos from me by messaging me through my social media. You can request me readings. I do long 1-hour readings, I do long 2-hour readings, and I do short 30-minute readings depending on how much detail you would like. And I do that over Zoom. And I also provide a written reading if you should so desire alongside that. And that will really tell you all about your purpose and your talents and your passions and your potentials in this world. If you'd like a reading, contact me through social media. You can request videos by just communicating to me through my social media, making comments on my videos, or you might just want to communicate with me to say hello or ask me questions. Go for it. I love to communicate with you guys. But it don't matter what I tell you really, unless it resonates with the soul within you, because only your own intuitive voice knows what's right for you. So the intuitive voice must be your biggest teacher in this lifetime. See you soon.